Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to do a video that some of you actually were asking me for, which is my favorite cheapy winter fragrances. Now, I have a lot of fragrances and I have a lot of inexpensive fragrances, budget friendly, cheapy, whatever you want to call it, that would fit the wintertime, cold weather gems. And I wanted to really focus on 5, and even more specifically 5 designer fragrances. So there are no Middle Eastern clones on this list. That will be a different video. I wanted to focus on 5 designer fragrances that can be found for under 40 bucks and are perfect for the cold weather. So let's jump into it. So the first fragrance that we're talking about is Diesel Bad Intense. And this one is interesting, to say the least. It's probably the most unique fragrance on this list. And I sprayed a strip maybe like 15 minutes ago of all these fragrances. And it's fresh, it's sweet, it has a nuttiness to it. What's very unique about this scent, of this entire list, I think this is probably one of 2 fragrances that are probably the best suited for nights out. But they're all going to work in the cold. They all have relatively good performance, so I'm not necessarily going to talk so much about that. I want to talk about the fragrance. There's a caviar note in here. My wife got me turned on to caviar. She loves it. She doesn't eat it often. It's usually reserved for special occasions. It's very expensive. I don't necessarily pick up a caviar note, but what I do pick up, which is an interesting note, or an accord, is sort of this aquatic feel. Later in the dry down, it's fresh, it's spicy, it's a little nutty. It probably, if I had to compare it to anything, it would be something like Stronger With You, but it doesn't smell like that or exactly like that. The sweetness is a little reminiscent of that fragrance with the nuttiness behind it. So I really like this one. This is a relatively new addition to my collection, and it was sent to me by one of you guys. But it's one that maybe isn't talked about enough. It's kind of like if you know, you know. And again, performance is really good. If you want a unique cold weather night out fragrance for under 40 bucks, you should definitely check out Bad Intense from Diesel. You know this next one had to make the list. Something we were talking about is Creo Spice and Black Vanilla. Now, this thing, a couple of these fragrances can be had not only for under 40, but under 20. Creo does really amazing fragrances. They're typically inspired by other fragrances. And this one gets its inspiration from Viktor and Rolf's Spicebomb Extreme. And it is similar to that scent. I would say that, and I've done a direct comparison video. I'll try to link it down below for you guys if you haven't seen it. It's one of my more popular videos where I compare it to Spicebomb Extreme. This is far more aromatic. It's far more versatile in my opinion because of the lavender note in here. And I actually think that it's, oh man, you know, this one is tough because, number one, this isn't my favorite scent DNA. I do enjoy it, but I might even prefer this over Spicebomb Extreme. I know that's crazy. I know that people love that scent. But I think with the versatility offered here, because of the lavender, because of the aromatics, it's just a little bit easier to reach for in more situations. And again, cold weather, I mean, you can't really go wrong with this one. Performance is really good. I get good projection from this for the first couple of hours. Longevity I would put in the moderate range. So you're getting a lot for your money. You're getting a lot of value for your money. I really like this one. It is an EDT concentration. I'm going to link all these fragrances for you guys, so you can grab them. Again, most of them are going to be found for under $40, but definitely give Creo a try, Spice and Black Vanilla, or anything from this house. Everything I've tried is really good. This next one is unique in its own way. Was sent to me kindly by Venba Fragrance. I've also picked up an additional bottle at TJ Maxx, and they were popping up a few months back. So we're talking about is Friday Edition from Elganzo. And wow, I mean, another unique winter fragrance that has some can't say that word, familiarity to it, much like the Creo and the Bad Intense. They will slightly remind you of other things. The Creo more so, but this is anise. Again, that nutty quality. It's a little bit powdery. Cardamom, lavender. It has some of those fresh and sweet elements to it. I just love this stuff. I give the analogy of it reminding me of anise cookies, like at Christmas time. I grew up in an Italian house, and a lot of times my grandmother would bake cookies. My wife makes them now. The Italian anise cookie with the sort of vanilla glaze and the rainbow sprinkles on the top. I know you guys have seen the cookie. I'll pop a picture up here so you can see it. But my favorite cookie, personally, I've been known to eat 1 or 10 in a sitting. And I don't know, there's just something really, truly addictive about this sweetness. All of these sort of have an addictive sweetness to them. They're not too much. They're not overly sweet. They're classy sweetness. They're easy to wear day and night. That's the other thing about these. All 5 of these are great transitional fragrances. You can wear these during the day. You can also wear them out at night, which is why I wanted to point out that I think the Bad Diesel is probably, the Bad Intense from Diesel is probably the best night out scent on this list because of its uniqueness. But I love this stuff. So, so good, and an absolute steal for what you can find this for. This next one was really hyped for a long time, ends up on a lot of lists. Here it is in 2025, still ending up on my list because it's still one of the better designer cheap fragrances for the wintertime. Plain and simple. Same way we're talking about is CK1 Shock for him. And if you've smelled this fragrance, you know how addictive this is. Just absolutely beautiful fragrance. When I first spray this, I get a lot of earthy elements to it, a lot of natural smelling notes. It can be synthetic later, once some of those notes fade, but there's something about this one in the opening that I just absolutely love. I believe mandarin orange is a note in here. Some people get an energy drink vibe. I don't drink a lot of energy drinks. The only thing I drink is Magic Mind. So shout out to Magic Mind. But I guess I can see what people are saying. The sweetness here is beautiful. You're also getting sweetness from tobacco, which a lot of people classify this scent as being a great introduction to tobacco. I don't necessarily know if that's true or not. I mean, I guess it is. It's the tobacco note is very subtle for me, and that just could be because my nose is accustomed to smelling stronger tobacco notes. But yeah, I still really enjoy this. This is kind of a guilty pleasure for me. I don't necessarily like the bottle. I think it's a little cheesy. But once you get past that, once you get past the presentation, it's an amazing scent. And one that, isn't going to perform the best, but this is so cheap. I mean, at one point, the 200 ml was like 20 bucks. So yeah, this stuff is really, really good for the cold weather, really cheap, and good quality. You're getting a great scent, so you're spending your money wisely. CK1 Shock. Finally, this last one has no business being as inexpensive as it is. I hope they never discontinue this. I hope this stays in stock forever because this is one of the best, if not the best, value designer cold weather scent on the market. And it's flanker as well. The original in this case, but this is a flanker to the original. Same way you're talking about is Salvatore Ferragamo's Uomo Signature. Cardamom, coffee, leather. Just so well balanced. Alberto Marias is the perfumer on this. I mean, you could easily spend $100 on this and it would still be worth it. I don't know why it's so inexpensive. I'm not angry about that. I think that's amazing. this list was in no particular order, but if I had to choose one to keep, it would probably be this. It would be this. I absolutely love this stuff. And I go back and forth between this and the OG, the Uomo. This one, it has the leather note. It's not in your face leather. It's not too brash or harsh. It's subtle. You know, I find a lot of subtleties between the two, but you know, they're both great in their own way. If anything, the OG focuses a little more on sweetness. This is a little more well-balanced, a little more grown man. I absolutely think this is amazing. If there is one that you pick up from this list, it should be this. It's not the cheapest one. It's probably getting closer to that $40 mark, but amazing scent. It's gonna pull compliments. People are gonna like this one. All of these are potential compliment getters because of that sweetness. The sweet and fresh element is kind of a no-brainer. It's a hit in most fragrances. It's kind of a go-to formula at this point. You know, think things like Versace Eros kind of perfected it. The sweet and fresh genre isn't going anywhere because it's just too likable, too easy to like. So, yeah, this one, amazing, amazing scent. What else can you say? That's it, guys. 5 winter fragrances that can be had for less than 40 bucks. Would love to know your suggestions. Keep it designer. I want to keep this list designer. I will in the future do possibly 5 dupes, 5 Middle Eastern fragrances, but I think we're all kind of feeling like, you know, Middle Eastern fragrances, they certainly have their place. It's easy to get lost in those, deciding what is the best, what's not the best. More and more coming out every day. So I wanted to keep this list simple, keep it to designer fragrances, and I'd be curious to know what you guys think. How are my picks? Drop it in the comment section down below what your favorite is. But until then, I'll see you in the next video.